What's going on, guys? You know what it is. It's your boy Turtle the Ascended, finally back with another video, trying to get more diligent on that, you know. But today we're going to be doing something special in light of Evo just happened and Gamers Aid, a few other big tournaments. What I'm going to be doing for y'all today is I'm going to be making my Street Fighter 6 tier list. Yes. We all love tier lists, don't we? So, before we get into it, I need you to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Likes are the single most important metric for videos to get put on people's feeds, so people be like, oh, if I search tier list, this guy will pop up, so help me out. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on so you know when I'm uploading, and let's get started. Alright. Remember, start this over. So I have a limited amount of time. Okay. So this is going to be pretty concise, as you can see already. I don't know if it's super clear. I kind of want to, I wish I could like zoom in further a little bit. But in case you can't see it, the top one is S plus tier, S tier, then the A tier, then B tier, then C tier. Okay. Can I do a presentation mode? I'm kind of dumb. My bad. Learning new things every day. Okay. So you can kind of see the characters. We're going to go ahead and get started. Alright. So we'll start with the S plus tier. The reason I added an S plus tier as opposed to some other people is because I think there are a couple characters that are just better than everybody else. But starting off at the top of the food chain, Ken is the best character in the game. Okay. I think a lot of tier lists are moving to say this as well, and I'm still kind of apprehensive because sometimes I don't really know what makes the character behind him in this tier as well. Luke, I don't really know specifically what people view so much in Luke that Ken supposedly doesn't have, but from what I've seen and what I've experienced playing against and with these characters so far, I'm gonna play some more of Ken online, but from what I understand or what I've experienced, the only real advantage Luke has over Ken is his Sandblast, and I don't really think that's a good enough advantage. Like, it makes it easier for him to control the space, but I think Ken's Fireball, OD Fireball, does a great job being able to run and DP people out of the air right after is kind of ridiculous. Ken touches you, you get put in a corner. Doesn't matter where you are. If Ken hits you, you get put in the corner automatically. Right? Luke does not have that same impending doom feeling, and I just feel like I just think that Ken is just better in a lot of aspects, right? Or a lot of aspects. It's not like Luke is bad in the aspects that I think Ken is better than him. Obviously, Luke has solid everything, right? He doesn't really lose to anybody. Like, you'd be hard pressed to counter him. You have to beat the player because he's so solid. But Ken supersedes him a little bit, right? Supersedes him in damage, in mix, in pressure, in mix up. Basically the same thing, I guess. Fireball, maybe not as good, but that's about it. He has just as good buttons as Luke. I'd say he has a slightly better low forward from my experience. Ken's buttons are great, super meaty, easy to time meaties, so many setups. Like, he's just so good, man. And if if Angry Bird didn't prove it, I don't know what did. Tokido's playing this character over Luke, and you know Tokido's low-key a tier hoe, but you know, it is what it is, man. So I think Ken is just the stronger character. Not by a whole lot, but it's just those little things that can really change the way that you have to think about the game. Right? Just getting thrown in the corner like that is a really big deal. So I would definitely say Ken is the absolute best character in the game, but I'd say that if you were to play Luke, you wouldn't be missing too much, right? Moving on to the S tier, I'm going to start off, I'm going to put Guile. So there are some old heads that would say that Guile is actually not all that oppressive or strong because of having the knowledge to deal with like Sonic Boom. I disagree. Sonic Boom in this game is still annoying, still really good, and now it has an added bonus to it, right? Like, it's one of these moves that you have to perfect parry. And if the Guile is constantly throwing perfect booms, which perfect booms are not hard at all whatsoever, and then you can willingly use that V skill as a active hitbox and throw it, it's a lot more dangerous in this game, right? Because if you try to just rando drive rush at him, it's not really going to work. Even if you perfect parry drive rush at him, it's not really going to work because his buttons are still really good. He can poke you out of a lot of stuff. Great low 4. It can't really confirm nothing, but on counter hit it gets you a flash kick, I believe. He still has all the buttons from Street Fighter V that made him such a daunting character to deal with in neutral. And then, of course, you can do all the old tactics with Boom. You can move up behind Boom. You can walk up behind Boom. You can enforce pressure. He's a defensive, offensive character, right? Like, he can wall you out, not only in the defensive sense where he just sits there, chucks some booms, flash kick, pull up on, but he can also just pull up on you with the bazooka knee, and then upside down kick threatens the low forwards, and it's just classic Guile stuff, right? Level 2 is basically, his level 2 super is basically his V trigger 1 from 5, so I mean, he still does a lot of damage. They actually made him more brain dead, in my opinion, with the while crouching combo. So it's not even hard to play this character anymore. Like, this character can just do things as long as you're paying attention, right? As long as you're not just straight up autopiloting, right? And you just make basic inferences, there's nobody you can't beat. Now, there are matchups that are good against him, right? That can match with him, but ultimately it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. Like, you still have to play the guessing game. Like, none of the anti-fireball techniques actually work against Sonic Boom, because once he's thrown it, if he's looking and paying attention after he throws it, he can stop any of the anti-fireball nonsense. Like, none of it really works all that well. After him, I'm gonna put both of these characters up here at once, Cammy and Juri. So I honestly think these two could be interchanged. Like, you could put Cammy first, you could put Juri first, and I personally wouldn't be mad. I honestly think they're even in terms of how good they are. I would say the only reason that I put Cammy a little bit higher is because, number one, she doesn't need the Fuha stores, right? She doesn't have to worry about that. And her neutral is a bit better, her walk speed is better, her pressure is better, the dive kick. Cammy's stickier, right? She's stickier, and like a lot of people say, she doesn't do a whole lot of damage. She really doesn't do a whole bunch of damage. She doesn't. Like, you have to use your drive rush a lot to get the damage that you're really looking for, but it doesn't even matter if she can just stay on you the entire time, right? So it's like, yeah, she's good, and it's like, yeah, her damage lacks sometimes, but she jumps back with that amazing walk speed. Medium kick, whether she hits you or not, drive rush in, stick to you with the lights, great light confirm, like almost egregious stand light kick. Like, that button is ridiculous. So she can stick to you like glue, and then of course cannon spike is gross, and the character is just so quick, so fast. The best anti-zoning tool in the game in the OD spin knuckle. So I mean, what more do you have to say? Juri is interchangeable because of how strong her level 2 is. Her level 2 super, when she goes into Feng Shui Engine. I don't know if it's still called Feng Shui Engine, but I'm calling it Feng Shui Engine because we all know that's what it is. She can end the round. She could start the round with it and just kill you, right? It can almost just be game off of the activation of that super alone. So it's like, and that's not even the worst part. Her regular dash is ridiculous in range. Her light Fuha with the fireball is very oppressive. She can drive rush behind it and force mix-ups and hold you in place to where there's nothing you can do. Her DP is really good in this game as opposed to Street Fighter V. So I guess they made up for it because their Street Fighter V DP was kind of bad. But in this game, it's pretty good. It does a lot for her. She does a lot of damage. Really, really, really good buttons. She's like Cammy again. She has really good lights. Solid low forward. I'd say her low forward is like slightly worse than Cammy's. And for those of you who don't know, low forward is crouch medium kick, right? This is the button from which they coined the term footsies. So, but you know, her low forward is not quite as good, but she gets just as much reward, if not more, since she does a little bit more damage, right? So it's like basically you want the neutral or you want more damage, right? It's kind of the same thing with Ken on Luke, but the difference is like these two equals kind of mitigate each other. But if I had to pick one and main one personally, I would probably pick Cammy first in terms of who's better. So after Jury, we're going to put JP. So I think it's insane how much this character was downplayed on release. Like, oh, this character's not actually that good. This character will be worse once people figure out what they're doing. Or the lab monsters, especially Kakeru, will just destroy you more so with these gross setups that he's got in his pocket, right? These JPs are getting smarter, and Kakeru definitely showed that JP's neutral is actually pretty good. His buttons are pretty good, his footsies are pretty good, and if you can actually play buttons with JP, then he becomes even more so of a threat. Like, he doesn't have to zone you out, he's not exclusively a zoner. And then freaking for whatever reason, OD Amnesia, I think is what the counter is called. Stupid defensive tool. Super stupid defensive tool. Even the regular one's a dumb defensive tool because, number one, it makes it so if they're paying attention, you can't drive impact them. Even if he's burnt out, you can't drive impact him. And then if he's got level 2 himself on the reverse end, he can drive impact you, right? And hit you with this level 2 sequence that immediately puts you in burnout. So he destroys you from the game's mechanically, I guess is the best way to say it. He destroys you mechanically because he stops you from using the game's mechanics. And it's a very dangerous game to play against JP, and then his zoning's good. He's probably the only character in the game that can cleanly out-zone Guile, which is kind of ridiculous. He has a zoning high-low, and then a command grab that does a lot of damage. His basic combos put you at his proper range, just to move, and you move to the back to the other side of the screen. He can fake his little ghosties, which would cause you, if you're trying to parry him, you're just gonna lose drive gauge for free. So he's very, very, very good at destroying your drive gauge, which I think is super duper duper broken. Like I said, OD Amnesia, stopping grabs and supers is crazy, and nullifying drive impact attempts even when he's burnt out. It's pretty silly. But yeah, this character is strong. I don't know what people were talking about. It's like, man, this character, he's a lot. He's a lot. So, and here I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to actually put Blanca in the S tier as well. In most lists, I think he's put at A, but I think he's better than A. I think he's a cut above those characters. Blanca is dumb. Now, he may lack in a bit of the neutral, just a bit, but he controls space so well because you always have to worry about Blanca Ball, right? There are counters to Blanca Ball, but you still have to be paying very close attention, or else you just get smacked, especially if you mess up. So if you're not predictable, and even if you parry Blanca Ball, you don't get a punish unless you do something very specific, and it's not going to really be all that worth in the first place. And then he could just OD it, right? And then it's almost impossible to react to. Jump back Blanca Ball is dumb, nullifies grabs, most footsies, and it's plus on block, so it's like, it doesn't matter. Jump back, OD Blanca Ball, he's still plus, and you gotta hold whatever he does. So it's literally just a clean way to steal the turn back from you. The shock is really good in this game, being plus, and moving him forward. I think moving him forward is a really big deal because it's like, forward, now I'm still in range to hit you with all my little tricky buttons. The lay down, avoiding fireballs, the slide, reaching as far as it does is really good. He has a little command grab that you can fake you out with. It's not all that great, but I think it's mostly about the ball. But boy, that level 2 and Blanca-chan in general, Blanca-chan, the freaking toy, in tandem with his level 2 especially, it's really hard to deal with. You get pressure even if you're ready to try to do something against it. He can run into you, back off, fake you out. He puts you in the corner and you eat mondo damage, like huge damage from just that level 2, right? Like Minna has 100% convinced me. Vanal, Wolfgang, all the stuff that I've seen this character been capable of. He can actually play footsies pretty well, right? He has some pretty cheeky buttons that have great range that he can play footsies with, and do some pretty good whiff punishing. Like, this character's annoying, really strong too, so I think he definitely has proven himself to be an S tier character. Alright, so on to the A tier. A tier, I'm gonna trust my instincts here. I'm gonna put DJ. DJ, at first I thought it didn't really matter that he lacked like a low forward, but the more I see this character and the more I see people play against this character, I think the DJs are steadily getting better. So he honestly might still be an S tier character, because the top DJs that I see, like Hot Dog and I forgot his name, who was in the Gamer's Aid, but these DJs are actually starting to get better with the character. They're starting to do more. There are some weaknesses, but his damage is huge. His damage is in the same league as freaking Marissa, man. That's scary. And he's quick. He's tricky. He's got a pretty good fireball. And it's like, he can do a lot. Drive rush, best drive rush in the game. Like, he can do a lot. Like, you just have to be really creative with him. Like, you can't just play one specific way, right? And that's what kind of tricks people up. He's overall, I think he's super duper strong. He's really good at tricking people, keeping his advantage. He can do a lot of nonsense to people, catching them off guard. Even if you know the matchup, he can still catch you off guard. So I still think this character, personally, is a potential S tier. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put him there. I've convinced myself. I think he's still an S tier character. I think as the DJs keep playing and improving against the competition, that they will bring him up to S tier status for sure. So the actual first A tier character. Let's say Chun-Li. I think Chun-Li's only problem is her difficulty. It takes a lot of work to be able to think about what you're doing, going from the stance into something, faking with the stance, the combos, the sequences, the amount of work that you have to do to put in with this character. Was it Haitani that was playing Modern at EVO? Modern Chun-Li is sick, honestly. I hate Modern controls, but Modern Chun-Li was strong. Like, it showed how strong Chun-Li is, but it took out all of the super high-level execution that you needed to be able to function with the character. So I believe if somebody can really take control of this character at full power, right? Because her fireball is great. She can move behind it. It's slow moving, so she can walk behind it. Great anti-fireball tool, and the axe kick. I think the axe kick hits overhead if she ODs it. Stupid mix-ups. Play on corner mix-ups with the jump on your head type stuff. Cute little drive rush mix-ups, jump overs. Good solid damage. The stance makes it so she doesn't really have to charge that much, so she can play footsies really well, and then just drive rush into a combo that lets you go into stance and get your charge move off. And there's a lot of stuff. The only thing is that it's so much information to take in that I don't think even at the top level, it just means it's so much easier to make a mistake than the other guy. So I think just for that alone, she can't be S tier. Like, everybody above her can be played almost brain dead to a degree, but you're not going to be able to just brain dead Chun-Li. Like, you have to be thinking every time, especially if you're not playing on like modern. So after her, I'm going to actually put Rashid. Okay, so I don't think Rashid is as broken as everybody thought he was going to be. Even me, I don't think he's as broken as I thought it was going to be. I think Rashid, I think I heard Smug say this somewhat. Rashid is pretty much just a better Kimberly. He's got a lot of stuff going for him, OD reversal, okay damage. His damage is like Cammy level, but it's harder to execute, right? I think he's in this tier, I think, for the same reasons that Chun-Li is. I think mastered, he's an S tier character, like completely mastered, but there's so many areas where you can mess up, and a lot of his stuff is gimmicks. So I think once you figure him out, he goes down to like an A tier, but he's still new. There's gonna be some time to actually figure out what he does. He does great at whiff punishing. He does good at everything that he was good at it in Street Fighter V. He had great whiff punishers, stand hard punch is still really good. He has great footsie tools actually with stand medium kick, space stand hard kick is really good. Like I said, his whiff punishers, both his medium punches are good. One thing that really hurts him is his heavy spinning mixer, which is his anti-air, not starting up fast enough, so it makes certain matchups harder to deal with because he can't get it out as quick. But playing around with his mechanics like the air current, the whirlwind shot, his new move, the Arabian Cyclone, that's basically V triggers 1 and 2 in one move, is pretty cool. I think he's a little bit too meter hungry. I think if you really want to get damage and truly get your setups going, you have to spend a lot of meter. And I don't think his level 2 is that crazy, right? It's good. It can be oppressive to some degree, but staying calm and just a liberal use of parry will do you a lot of good against Rashid. So that's why I don't think he's really gonna push that far past like A tier, but it's possible. So it's very possible. Next, I'm gonna put Marissa. So in some tier lists, Marissa is the top of A tier. I don't really think so. I think she does 1 billion damage, right? That's very obvious. We all know she does 1 billion damage. I think her footsies kind of suck. I think she's pretty much just playing her neutral with Gladius. Like, if she can't abuse Gladius against you, she can't really beat you. She doesn't really play neutral well against you. She has a lot of cheeky moves like the Sparta kick. She has some okay normals that hit from far away, but those normals are risky because they are kind of slow, right? So you can whiff punish her quite a bit. You have to just play a really strong neutral, and the problem is that the punishment that comes with failing equals like a fourth of your health gone, right? Like a fully charged Gladius eliminates a lot of characters' options, especially if it's just like one button, or a one hit. I mean, she straight up destroys drive impact. So trying to DI versus this character is almost always a bad idea because of Gladius, because of her little parry stance that also is like amnesia, JP's amnesia. So you can't even really properly pressure her with drive impact shenanigans if she's burnt out, because she'll just and then grab you, because for some reason she has the command grab. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but whatever, man. And her level 3 is actually super cheap, because I think it's the only the only super in the game, I think, don't quote me, because I haven't seen all the supers, but I think hers is the only super in the game that automatically puts you in the corner. So even if it's like round start, that's really good, because it's gonna put them in the corner and you have your scenarios. She's got safe jumps, So she's a really scary character. I think she's in here mostly just because at any point in time she could flip the game on its head. Just at any point in time. She's just very, very, very dangerous. After that, I'm gonna put Honda here. Honestly, I think Honda's better than Marissa. So I think Honda's better than Marissa for a few reasons. I'm gonna have to restart my music real quick. Start it back here. But yeah, I think Honda is definitely better than Marissa. I definitely think that Honda is being underappreciated as a character. Honda's good, man. Honda's good. I think what a lot of people are focused on is that headbutt butt slam, which both of those moves are really good in this game. And I think you can get a lot of people because of how well he destroys the drive gauge because you block the headbutt. And butt slam can be tricky to deal with, but it's not something you can't lab out, right, if you're ready for it. Right? But the illusion that as long as you can deal with those two moves, you've beaten him, this is false. I would argue he's the best character in the game at controlling the corner, because if you take to the air in any shape, form, or fashion, you try to jump back, you try to jump up, you try to jump over, right? You're getting hit with one of three moves, right? If you jump forward, you get hit with stand hard punch, best one button anti-air in the game, right? If you also try to jump forward, you get hit with a dos koi. You feel me? You try to neutral jump, you can get hit with a dos koi. You try to jump back in the corner, you can get hit with a dos koi or a butt slam. You can also get butt slammed if you neutral jump. And the character does a great bit of damage. It can get you in the corner pretty easily. Lands a solid counter hit with the new move, his sumo rush, that allows him to get that cool combo, that bink, bink, and then pom pom corner. And then now you're his mercy. And with Sumo Spirit makes his neutral really good, right? Because then crouch hard punch and the late hitbox of stand hard punch become really dangerous hit confirms. They're actually pretty easy to hit confirm too, right? So both of these moves are so much better, right? Because of the Sumo Spirit, and Sumo Spirit also gives him a lot of damage. He has a solid target combo, so he can still car cancel his overhead into like a command grab. So he's really good at keeping up pressure. It's just that a lot of Hondas, they don't know what to do when their opponent actually starts making you play footsies. But Honda's buttons are good, right? Forward hard kick, his medium punches are both good. I actually think his medium kicks are good too, because a lot of his buttons move him forward. So that's really good. You can poke at him. Like he's really good at just playing the stray hit game, right? You don't have to land combos with Honda to win, right? You just have to be careful and pick your stray hit points, right? Just getting a stray poke is really good for Honda, right? Because it puts him in better position to do whatever he wants to do. So I think Honda's slept on. I think he's a really great character. I think he's probably the strongest he's ever been. So I don't want to put anybody else in this tier. No, I don't. Okay. Top of B tier. Let's go. Not there. Let's go. What's this chick's name? I don't like playing against this chick. Kimberly. There we go. Kimberly's annoying. Like I said, a worse Rashid. She's still pretty decent. She has a lot of mix. She plays from a decent range, but her neutral kind of sucks. Like, her best neutral tool is, say, a medium kick. And most of the time that I see people play this character, they spend the large majority of the match walking backwards. Right? Not even actually, like, trying to inch in and out of range. Like, they're just walking straight back and trying to surprise you with something. Or do a mix that's not real that you can beat out. So, all of her mix is very obvious. It's been dumbed down a lot from beta. So, all of her mix is very obvious. So, it's kind of easy to stop her stuff. You just have to know to stop it, right? You have to know what it is. Everything is reactable in her kit. So I don't think she's all that great. She's not as good as she used to be, but she still does have the speed, pretty okay walk speed. She has the little paint can mix, which can be pretty good. And she can still do some work. She does a lot of damage. She can put you in a corner pretty easily. So definitely don't sleep on this character, because this character will mess you up. Next, I'm actually going to put Ryu. Ryu's not terrible. It's just the classic case of there's a bunch of characters that do the same thing he does better. Is what it is. He does a lot of damage, though. He actually does do a lot of damage. So he shouldn't be slept on. His fireball is okay. Denjin charge is a nice touch. But the fact that you would have to go between and actually get the Denjin charge, finding the opportunity by choosing to get that if you can zone is pretty decent. So he's not bad. He's not terrible. It's just Ken has everything that's better, right? There's not a whole lot he has going for him. He has some little neat donkey kick tricks, but that's about it. Nothing too serious. He just doesn't have any sauce, to be honest. Right? He has some tricks, but everything he does is pretty seeable. Most of the time, you'll just find yourself getting grabbed at by Ryu's and then get hit with a random damage combo. So, I mean, he's nothing all that special, in my opinion. After that, I'm going to put Manon. So, Manon, everything she does is risky. You have to commit to hard reads to really make this character work, or have an exceptional neutral, right? Your neutral must be exceptional to play this character, right? Now, she has great neutral buttons, but everything she has is kind of slow. So unless you're only playing neutral with, like, I think it's stand medium kick, or maybe crouch hard punch, then it's going to be hard for you, because so many other characters in the game have better buttons for neutral, so it's harder to play against her. And a lot of her approach options are unsafe. Like, she could catch you walking back with the I'm gonna call them the pirouette kicks, the low pirouette kicks, and you just get punished. Same thing with the sweep. Like, she can be, you have to kind of play a reactive neutral. You almost have to act like you're playing Colleen, kind of. Like, that's what I got the sense of from her buttons. You kind of have to act like you're playing Colleen a little bit. So she can play neutral very well, actually, and get her awards. But a lot of her stuff is just like, brings you close, now guess, right? And then, of course, her medals. If she gets 5 medals, she's dangerous. Yeah, because that command grab does too much damage, honestly. So actually, I'll put her at the top of B tier. I think she's a bit better than the two of these guys, simply because of her neutral capabilities. I think she does really well in those aspects. After Ree, we're going to put Dawson. So, it's not that Dawson is bad. It's that the people who play Dawson are bad. Right? Excluding, like, the upper echelon of guys like Mr. Crimson. Right? F-Champ, I think, is doing pretty decent with him. But this character, he got a buff in that you could teleport without actually having to use the Dragon Punch motion. But it's still iffy, right? Because a lot of his range pokes, his little punches, you can just DI them and hurt him for it. But he does have some tricks with his fireballs, the angles of his fireballs, the canceling into teleport stuff. He can be tricky. You just have to be really, really particular. Like, your brain has to be 100% on the entire time, or you will just lose and get sauced. But if you're built that way, you will run over a lot of people with this character if they're getting caught off guard, that is. But I think for the most part, this character is much weaker than he used to be. I would say Street Fighter V was easily his best iteration. I think I'm gonna add a tier. Should I add a tier? Yeah, I'll add a tier. This color. Add her below. Keep this one this color. And then change this one to this color. Yeah. I'm gonna add a D tier. So, C tier, Jamie. So, some of my friends might give me flack for putting Jamie this low, but as the person that actually plays Jamie as opposed to them, Jamie is not a good character. Okay. He has a lot of tools that are just not good. Okay. They're just not good. Zero drink Jamie is terrible, and Jamie should not be getting away with getting drinks. If Jamie is getting away with getting drinks, that means you're not playing close enough to him or paying enough attention. Because anything that Jamie could do is random. He could slide in there with Palm, but if you're paying attention, you block it, he loses his turn unless he mashes out DP, right? So if you're patient enough and pay attention to the habits, the random habits, he just dies, right? And sure, you could aggress you with no drinks, but that just means your basic defense is not that great. But Jamie as a whole is just not strong, right? One drink Jamie is okay, right? I would say this character would be a ton better. This character would at least be B tier, maybe even a B plus tier, if drink 1 Jamie was drink 0 Jamie, right? And then he only had to get to drink 3. The problem is that he has to do that every single round. I have to sit there and formulate a plan to get my drinks, right? Because realistically, you are not beating any character in S plus through A unless you can get your drinks, right? Because you're open to fireball abuse, right? So you have to at least get to drink 2 so that you can at least get access to your spin kicks, your breakdance kicks, right? So you can go through fireballs. But there's just a lot of tools he just doesn't have at the start of the game that makes it so bad to play him. And even if you get to drink 4, right? Now drink 4, you can most definitely sway things, right? Drink 4, he becomes really, really powerful character. I would say he maxes out. I'd say at drink 4, he would be about here. He'd be around here because he would get to the same level as a lot of these characters, but I don't think he's quite there. Actually, I'll be a little bit more generous. He's about right here at drink 4, right? At drink 3, I'd put him about right here. At drink 2, I'd put him right here. At drink 1, drink 1, I would leave him where he is. I would probably leave drink 2 and drink 1 right here. Actually, I changed that mind. So, drink 4, drink 3, drink 2, drink 1, no drinks. Collectively, I think he's right here, though, because I still don't think his buttons still just aren't good. You have to get all the way to drink 4 to make a lot of the buttons, the cool buttons that are worth using, good. Right? So it's just not really worth pondering your head to get all of that going. No, put Lily. Lily could honestly be higher, low key. It's just that she has no mix. Her game plan is get a win stock, use it to get in, and then either I'm gonna command grab you or I'm gonna hit you with a combo. And then I get a win stock and then I do it again. Maybe some poking. But that's it. That's the entire character. So because she doesn't have any sauce, no other, it's literally just pure, she's the purest form of strike throw. Right? Because you don't have any high damage combos. Your highest damaging combos, honestly, are things like jab, 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 DP, or jab, 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 freaking level 1 super or something like that. Right? Now, she can do some damage, but it's extremely meter hungry to do so. So, right, it is what it is. And then, last but not least, Gief at the bottom on his own. Gief just struggles in this game, man. His drive rush is not very good. Modern Gief, however, I actually think is like right here. Right? Honestly, modern Gief could be right here. Modern Gief is really good because it takes away having to do like half circles, and it makes whiff punishing with SPD really easy, and then SPDing in the air is really easy, and then just reacting to things becomes so much more dangerous when you can just SPD. If somebody's trying to drive impact you in the corner, you just tuck, bam, one button. So it's like this character can be very oppressive if you're in modern, but he's realistically right here overall. There's just he's just struggles in so many aspects with the game's mechanics. And like, everybody can do so much more against him because of the game itself. Not to say that he can't function against a great bit of the cast with a lot of patience and some obscenely godlike neutral. It's possible, and some good reactions. So it's not like he's just out of there, but it is what it is, you know. But all right. This is my final list. This is my Street Fighter 6 tier list. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Long time coming. So hope you guys will stick around because I do have a few projects coming up. I plan on making a guide for all of the characters that I've reached master with, which after a few more sessions, hopefully Jamie will be one of those characters. But as of right now, it's going to be two characters that I have right beside each other in this list, which are Honda and Rashid. So again, thank you guys for watching. Remember, like the video on your way out. Catch you guys next video. Peace, brother.